Oh, hello. Welcome to the channel. This is the channel, the number one channel, the number one marketing channel for roofing contractors, where I give everything away for free with the hopes and intentions of you using it and building your company to go from a couple million to maybe 4 or 5 times that. And today's point of conversation is stop hiring your nephew to run your ads. Okay. Stop hiring your nephew to run your ads, or the 17-year-old kid that you see who watched a YouTube video. It's really that simple. I need to talk about something I think it's just costing roofers a disgusting amount of money. And nobody wants to say it out loud because it involves family, or it's just the easy path to like hire that young kid that you're like, oh, he knows social media. He knows how to, he knows the internet. He knows how to uh, do all the one boat. Like it's way easier than hiring someone in the family, at least the concept. Okay. And I'm not saying that this is you. If you're watching this video right now, maybe you're um, a wizard at marketing and running your own ad campaigns. But if you have a nephew, a cousin, a buddy's kid, or really anyone under the age of 25 who knows social media, like I said, running your paid advertising, I think you really just need to hear me out. I think what you're saving, or what you think you're saving in costs, you're paying for 10 times over in lost revenue. Okay. So I get it. I understand why this happens. A lot of our team is fixing the mess of a different marketing company that's really falling short. But you're a roofing contractor, right? Like I understand you don't want to go out there and learn all this tech stuff. You don't know anything about digital marketing to the extent that some of these top players do. You're really good in your field. It's just this is a whole new arena, and that's understandable. You shouldn't have to. It's not your job. Your job is to get roofs on houses, right? So when your nephew comes over for Thanksgiving and says, "Uncle Mike, I can run your Facebook ads. I took a marketing class in college, or I watched, this. I got this guru's training." It sounds great, right? He's cheap, he's family, he's eager, and you don't have to go find some agency and spend 3 or 4 grand a month. And honestly, your nephew probably can run ads. He can set up an ad campaign. He can pick an audience. He can put an image up and hit publish. That's not necessarily like the difficult part. Anybody with a YouTube tutorial and an afternoon can do that. But here's the thing, running ads is not the same thing as generating revenue. And that distinction is where this whole thing falls apart. Okay. So that is, running ads does not equal generating revenue. All right, let me explain what I mean. When you hire someone, and it doesn't have to be a nephew, it could just be an inexperienced marketer. When you hire someone to manage your advertising, you're not paying them to push buttons inside of an ad platform, right? You're paying them for three things, okay? And this is what you're really paying them to do. What you are paying for. Let's throw this. Boom, boom, boom. What you are paying for. Number one, strategy. Strategy. Did I spell it right? Strategy. Yup. Number two, speed of learning. Number three, accountability of revenue. Those are the three things that you are paying for. Okay. Number one is strategy, knowing which type of campaign to run, what kind of offer to put in front of the homeowners, how to structure your messaging so it attracts people who actually need a roof, and not just people who click on stuff, right? That's not a button. That's not a setting. That's judgment built from running hundreds of thousands and realistically more than that in ad spend across multiple roofing companies. Your nephew doesn't have that. The young agency who you say is saying, hey, like let's try off a 14-day free trial or a $1,500 a month retainer. They don't have the infrastructure or the live reporting, or the just the data to make these decisions on a bigger scale. The more data you have, the easier it is to make a decision based off that data as opposed to making guesses. Okay. Number two. Sorry. Oh man. Number two, speed of learning. What do I mean by speed of learning? So, speed of learning is when a campaign isn't working, how fast can you diagnose the problem is and then fix it? Okay. There's so many variables at play, especially if you're not the one who is in control of the sales process, or if your agency is not in control of the sales process. There's so many things that can be broken, right? And we have to test which things can be broken. And the speed of learning is exactly that. So, for example, let's say that you run a marketing campaign or an ad campaign, whether it's Google, Bing, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok ads, whatever it is. And let's say that our contact rate is below 70%. What exactly is the problem? Does your agency know what the problem is? The problem could be speed to lead. The problem could be we're not calling the lead enough. The problem could be the sales process. When we get someone on the phone and we contact that homeowner, are we actually saying the right things? Are there pattern interrupts? Is there enough energy on the call? There's so many different things that could be broken, and an experienced media buyer looks at the data and knows within honestly a few days what's off, right? Is it the creative? Is it the audience? Is it the offer? Is it the landing page? Your nephew is going to spend 3 weeks guessing, and every week he's guessing. It costs money to like make a decision to then burn budget with nothing to show for it. Okay. So that's what I mean by speed of learning. Number three, and this is the biggest one. This is the biggest one: accountability of revenue. Accountability of revenue. The current agency that you have, I mean, I believe that over time, agencies are not going to be as relevant, right? Because of AI. There's a lot of things that need to happen, but what you can't have your nephew be, or even running AI, like it's you need a team and a department that has accountability over the revenue that they're generating. And what I see way too much is the previous marketing company is going to show like clicks, and like I always ask the business owner, hey, do you have any sort of like reporting, or is there anything that like any goals, or like I look at it as like a sales organization. Like these are the numbers that we need to hit, these are the benchmarks that we need to hit, these are the inputs that we need to hit to get the output. Okay. I'm not looking for clicks, I'm not looking for impressions. They might even show you leads, but I'm not even really looking at leads. I'm looking at what happened to these leads. How much revenue did we generate? And that's what I want you to do too. So I'm not even just talking about what I'm doing. Like, I want you to ask yourself, is the person that you hired, are they tracking what happened to these leads? Are they tracking attribution? Do they know how many of these leads actually turn into appointments? How many of these turned into signed contracts? What was the overall revenue? What was the cost per acquisition? Those are the main things that I'm looking for. And we went over this in the other videos, right? What is the cost per lead? What is the cost per appointment? More importantly, cost per appointment is way more important than cost per lead. But out of all those appointments, what's the show rate? How many of these ended up showing up? What did we end up running? And then out of all of these that we ran, what did my closers close at? But it goes further than that. It's what are the size of these jobs? Are these just rinky dink 15 square jobs, or are they high intent homeowners that led to more revenue, where we could have upsold them on the back end? We could have sold them attic insulation, we could have sold them siding, we could have sold them gutters. Were they a legitimate ideal client? What was our cost to acquire this person, and what was the lifetime gross profit that they actually generated? And are we tracking those things? Okay, so again, I'm not speaking to everyone, I'm just speaking to the one person. I'm speaking to you. If you don't have these numbers dialed in, it's understandable because you're juggling so many things from the foreman, the salespeople that are churning or getting that are just not pulling their weight, um, homeowners themselves who are blowing you up, right? So I know that you're looking at a lot of different things, but that's why it's so important to install a department who is looking at these things, that are looking at all the stats across the board, not just for your company, but from all these other big players, where it gives you an advantage on one thing. When you see a lot of these big players pour in a crazy amount in advertising, all they're doing, they're not buying more customers, they're buying more data. And more data allows us to get a real time look of where the undervalued, underpriced attention really is. And that to me is accountability of revenue. Okay. So when you do hire someone, and maybe your nephew is a good fit, who knows, maybe he's the next prodigy, but vanity metrics, these are what I would stay away from: clicks, impressions, reach. I think these are the real metrics. These are the needle movers: leads, appointments, closed revenue, and CAC. And again, I'm not talking smack on like the guys who are creating content, these organic videos that perform. It's just much easier to measure and systematize leads, appointments, closed revenue, cost per acquisition off one channel. What is the cost, not just to acquire a client, but what is the cost for my top closer to get in front of a homeowner that I believe has a high likelihood of closing, is super motivated? What is the cost for my closer to get in front of an inbound lead of somebody that put their information in, that raised their hand and said, hey, I want to work with your roofing company? What is the cost? Like that stat, I want to know that stat. And the reason why I want to know that stat is because if I put my best closer, and I'm not talking about myself. We have to remove ourselves from the sales role. If you're a roofing contractor right now and you're closing every single deal, that's awesome, right? You are hustling. You're driving 2-3 hours a day. On one way. You're meeting every single homeowner. You're wowing every customer, and that's how it should be in the beginning. But now, what I want you to do is I want you to really make that mental shift. And this is what I see with so many people that I coach and help. They make the mental shift of I'm going to remove myself from that hustler mode, and I'm really now going to promote myself to CEO. And I'm not saying don't work hard, but your job as the owner is to elevate and put someone in that spot so you can do higher leverage things. Yes, I get it. You're really good at sales. Yes, I get it. You tried hiring salespeople in the past and they failed and they flopped. But what are we doing now to solve that puzzle and solve that problem? And when you hire a closer, what I've normally seen, and the drop off is significant. It's not just you, it's everyone, right? If there's no process or anything, I mean, even if there is a process and the salesperson is learning, I've seen a drop off as much as 30% from owner, founder, and then passing it to their first salesperson. Normally, what I see is I see the owner being really freaking good at sales, and then like it is different. It is a different sales process when you're closing up, because when you think about roofing, it's a high ticket commodity service. Yes, we all believe that our companies are different, and I want you to continue to have that pride. But when you bring somebody on board, they're just not going to care as much as you care. They're not. You might bring on the best talent in the world, but there will be somewhat of a drop off, at least in the beginning. I'm not saying this person can't outsell you, because we're leaders, we have to find people who, if I'm a leader and I'm hiring out for my sales team, I don't want to be the best salesperson. My job is to build everyone else around me. Okay, but you can't do that on an unsteady foundation of leads. You have to make sure that you're prospecting enough leads, not where they're a lazy cat and you're just feeding them leads after leads. We want them still hustling and doing their own thing. But that's where I want you to promote yourself from someone who is like run and gun, I'm doing all this, I'm staying in the trenches, to, hey, let's get some other people around us. Let's delegate people to, put out this fire, which is generating cash, bring cash into the business, so I can lead us and get to the treasure, which could mean, in this specific case, finding more motivated homeowners who want your product. That is the ultimate goal. If we can crack that code, you can scale. And I want you to think bigger. Okay. So your nephew is reporting vanity metrics because that's all he knows how to measure. And when you look at a report that says, we got 10,000 impressions this week, that tells you absolutely nothing about whether your marketing is making you money. Okay. So now I think the cost comparison, what sheep actually costs, this is what I like to talk about. Okay. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the money, because that's where contractors get it backwards. Okay. Let's say you pay your nephew 500 a month, or a new agency, you're paying a couple grand a month, right? And let's say you give him $3,000 in ad spend. Hey, Timmy, uh, you know, I believe what you said. We're hammered around the Thanksgiving table. I had one too many Heinekens, a couple fireball shots with you. This is the first time you're drinking. Yeah, let's do it. Here's 3K in ad spend. So you're in for $3,500 total. It sounds reasonable, right? Your nephew, he doesn't know how to optimize the campaign. He doesn't know what a good cost per lead looks like for, just he, in, everything is new. Okay. Even the new agency, right? They don't really know how to write an ad that speaks to a homeowner who just found a leak versus a homeowner who's been putting off a re-roof for 3 years. Those are different people. They need different messages. So instead of getting leads at $50 or $60 each, maybe he's getting them at $120 or $150. Okay. And instead of 50 or 60 leads from that 3,000, maybe you're getting 20 or 25. And because there's no follow-up system, no tracking, no accountability, maybe you close two of them because you're really good at sales. Okay. Two jobs. Let's say that's, we're looking at 30 squares, 25 squares. We're looking at two jobs, retail, not insurance. We're cash flowing, top line, $24,000 in revenue. Okay. Right. So that's not a horrible return. And let's do this actually. Let's do nephew scenario. I don't know why I'm bashing nephews. I have a son myself, and he's someone's nephew. So, you know what? Give your money to the nephew. Let them burn the money, man. We love the nephews. But let's say $3,500 a month leads 20. Let's say you get you 20 leads, you close to total rev. Let's make all these the same. Total rev, 24K for Kobe. Okay. Now, let's say you pay a specialized agency who's handling hundreds of thousands of dollars of ad spend, $3,000 a month, and give them the same $3,000 in ad spend. You're in for 6K total. Okay. More expensive upfront, but they know what they're doing. They get your cost per lead down to $55, right? So that's 55 leads. Is there a way I can do the X out? I don't know. So let's say 55 leads. I'll just put it down here. Stay with me. This is big. 55 leads. Okay. Their process drives those leads into your pipeline properly. And let's say you close 6 of them. That's $60,000 to $70,000 in revenue. Okay. And um, I mean, $6,000 all in, 55 leads, um, 5, 6 closes. We're looking at 60 to 72K. Okay, so you saved $2,500 a month by going with your nephew, and it costs you $36,000 to $48,000 in revenue you never saw. That's not saving money. You going with a safe bet is kind of like when you hire a worse salesperson. You hire a worse salesperson and you pay them less money, but the top salesperson, that elite sales guy, yeah, he's going to cost more, but he's going to generate 10x the amount of revenue. And this is just a small situation. Okay. That's the most expensive decision you made all year. And you didn't even realize it because now, not only did you lose out on all that money, you now think marketing doesn't work, even though all these top players, all these private equity companies are pouring in millions into marketing on a day to day basis, right? So, saving, let's put quotes over this. Saving $2,500 per month costs you 40K in lost revenue. Okay. So here's the part that nobody wants to deal with. How do you fire your nephew? How do you tell family, hey, this isn't working, when they're trying to help? I'll tell you how. Okay. You frame it the right way. You don't say you're doing a bad job. You say, I appreciate you helping me getting started with this, but I'm at a point where I need someone who specializes in this full time, who has a team delegated to look at all the stats and to do this 8 to 12 hours a day. This isn't a reflection of you. It's about, needing to invest this part of the business properly. That's it. That's the conversation. It's uncomfortable for, about 5 minutes, and then it's over and you start making real money. Okay. And honestly, if your nephew is actually talented, a good agency or a good media buyer is someone who could learn from, right? Like you could just hire someone and then put them underneath and show them and have them stay in the ad account. Like send him their way. Maybe he becomes great at this someday, but he shouldn't be learning on your dollar with your business on the line. There's a lot on the line, as you know. Okay, so I'm not here to bash anyone's nephew. I made a lot of jokes. I'm sure they're a great kid, but your roofing company, it's your livelihood. You're going all in and you're betting on this big time. You're spending every single minute and hour doing this. And when you leave the business, I mean, there's like, it can't run without you. We need as much firepower as we can get to win. You're competing against guys who don't have their nephew running their ad account. You're competing against guys who have 10 years corporate experience, who are spending 100x more. You wouldn't show up to a game without the best players on the team. You can have, some aspiring players on the bench to watch, but it's game time every single day, every single time that like we wake up, like the clock starts and we're competing. It's business. Okay. So I just to bring it home, you know what to do. If you need help, right? All you have to do is reach out to me. And what I want to do, even if we don't end up working together, if you have a question, if you have if you have maybe something that you're seeing in the marketing game plan that you currently have, there's a link in the description. I want you to fill out that link and I will give you a free audit of what I see. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. But my goal is to give away all the free resources to one day be able to either invest and acquire or partner with you and your roofing company. Okay, so that's day 4 videos in a row. I'm going to be breaking down everything that I know for free every single day, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going on a streak. If you stay with this channel long enough and you watch all the videos, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe right now. If you made it this far, 25 minutes deep, like the video and subscribe to the video. Tomorrow I'm breaking down door knocking possibly versus digital marketing, and which one actually gets you to 5 million in revenue or 16 million in revenue, how to combo both. I think I just heard my son wake up. It's Sunday morning over here. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll speak with you soon.